week 6 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few tight ends I have as sleepers this week. The first one, Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots. So Hunter Henry, he's been a mainstay in this offense for many years. But obviously the quarterback play, the last few seasons, Mac Jones, Bailey Zapp, and the beginning this year, Jacoby Brissett, just hasn't been any good for this New England Patriot team. Henry out there in tons of leagues, 73%. Now they turn to the rookie Drake May is his Patriot team. And we know quarterback's best friend and security blankets usually on the offense is the tight end position. So I think May's going to target Henry a decent amount. I know the Texans give up the second least amount of fantasy points to tight ends on the season. But Hunter Henry, like I said, Drake May's going to try to target him. On the outside, Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, they haven't done much this season. And Hunter Henry in deeper leagues is a tight end that could be a sleeper option. And especially, he can't be any worse than he was over the last few weeks where Jacoby Brissett in there, where I think he could improve. Obviously, with Drake May, next tight end, Juwan Johnson of the New Orleans Saints, and now Spencer Rattler in at the quarterback position, another young quarterback who I believe the tight end position will be targeted more. And Juwan Johnson actually last week a decent performance in PPR leagues at Kansas City. 5 catches, 31 yards on 5 targets. So Rattler's stepping in as the quarterback with Derek Carr's out with the rib and the oblique injury. And this week, it's not a great matchup versus Tampa Bay. Up the 11th least amount of fantasy points to tight ends on the season. But Juwan Johnson, he's had some flash games on and off over the last few seasons. Now with the young quarterback Rattler coming in, that tight end position will get more looks, I believe, in this game. And as long as Taysom Hill's out, Juwan Johnson and Foster Monroe will be the number 1 and 2 tight ends on this roster. So he's available 97% of fantasy leagues. And it could be a potential game where they're down early and often, where we know Tampa Bay has a high-powered offense and they got to throw the football a whole bunch. And the third and final tight end I have is a sleeper, Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. Theo Johnson, they like him a lot coming out. He's this New York Giant team. And if Malik Nabers is out again in this game, more targets are going to go the way of Theo Johnson. And we saw that in Week 5 at Seattle when Nabers was out, 5 catches, 48 yards on 5 targets. So this week, Sunday Night Football, Cincinnati Bengals, they can't stop anyone. We've seen it the last few weeks. And we saw Isaiah Likely last week, 13 yards on 3 catches with 2 touchdowns. So they give up the 8th most points to tight ends. And Theo Johnson, as a deep sleeper, available 99% of fantasy leagues. That's a few tight ends I have as sleepers for Week 6 of the fantasy football season.